Welcome to 3-Minute Thoughts. This is Susan Berg with the Highline practice, and I'm here to talk about a topic that I call Don't Blame Anything On. I want to tell you a little story about a very dear friend of mine, a very spiritual woman who has the amazing art of guiding and not telling you what to do, something I very much aspire to develop more of. About 15 years ago, I was not feeling well one day, and I told her, oh, I think it's menopause and blah, 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 blah. And Ginny pulled her lovely magical finger up and pointed it towards the sky, and that sort of, wait, stop, don't go any further. And she leaned in and she said, Susan, we never blame anything on menopause or old age. And you can tell it was a real moment for me because it's more than 15 years ago that this happened. And I remember the instant of it because there was this recognition that, oh, this is a shared human experience. It happens to us all. And yes, men have their own version of menopause. Our bodies age, we all get older. But why not just blame my problems on something outside of myself? And as Ginny guided me to think this through, it robs me of ownership and of making a choice in my life. And as I've been thinking about this, I think the same thing applies to pandemics. Don't blame anything on pandemics. And even the current threat of war and the heaviness that we are feeling and the need to just sort of take a breath and lean into giving ourselves some space around this. So now you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, that's really radical. Of course I can blame what's happening to me on war or on the pandemic. And why not blame what I'm going through on that? Because it isolated me. I lost loved ones. I got really sick. I got really lonely. And you're right. And circumstances do change around us. And so what this we don't blame anything on mentality is about is how do we get out of this cycle of fear that this blame thing is really deep in. You know, blame is letting go of what I'm uncomfortable with and what's hurting me. And it's the exact opposite of taking responsibility, taking a deep breath and saying, okay, what do I do with this? What now? And it's very vulnerable. I want to blame. I want to blame my husband, I want to blame my kids or my dog or the pandemic. Because if I step back and say, well, who am I in this and what am I all about? It means I have to talk it out with myself or with my spouse or with whomever I want to engage with. And I have to dig in a bit and find, as the Ukrainians do, even in the face of war, how to hold on to our grit and our tenacity, how to just hang in there. So yes, don't blame anything on menopause or old age or pandemics or war, as Ginny said. That's like blaming rain for being wet or the sky for turning gray. These are the conditions of our lives. It feels appropriate to talk about the great writer and thinker Viktor Frankl. He was a psychiatrist who survived Auschwitz. And he said, everything can be taken but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. And that's what I hope, as we get easeful with ourselves and give ourselves a bit of a break in this time of upheaval, we can give ourselves, regardless of the circumstances, a chance to choose our own way. So the question today is, how do I slow down, stop the blaming, How do I choose to change my response? How do I work with what I've got to build my future self? Viktor Frankl also said, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. How do I build my future self? By choosing to change how I respond and working with what I've got. So happy reassessing, happy thinking. Give yourself time to breathe and to sort of take it easy. Happy choosing. And we'll see you next time.